Part 80. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 795. The Spring Festival is getting closer and closer, and the flavor of the new year in the port area is getting stronger and stronger. After finishing the work with New Jersey, Qin Ji chose to hang out with her in the port area to take a look at the current layout of the port area, which was considered a patrol. However, there was another person following the two of them while they were wandering around, and they never left each other. Qinwei, aren't you tired of following me like this? Qin Ji turned his head and looked at Qinwei and said helplessly. Ha, how could I be tired? As a guard knight of the commander, protecting the safety of the commander is my biggest mission. I feel like the purifier has come recently. Although it is said that she has a good relationship with Minato, but you still have to be careful about sirens. Qinwei laughed. Qin Ji was helpless. But I already have New Jersey by my side. Even if the purifier dares to take action in the port area, she can't hurt me. The College of New Jersey, but the commander's secretaryship is responsible for helping the commander handle various affairs, so it may not always be with the commander, so my presence is necessary. Qinwei said. Haha, Commander, the Vanguard is right. I wasn't with you when I went to deliver the documents, so it's safe to have someone to protect you. New Jersey said with a smile, obviously wanting to see Qin Ji's joke. Why are you joining in the fun? Well, it's okay now anyway. You can follow if you want. Qin Ji still chose to compromise. After all, Qinwei also cared about him. He couldn't reprimand her and refuse to accept her concern. As a result, the originally planned 2 people became 3 people, walking together in the port area. This year's port area is more grandly decorated than last year, maybe because there are more people, Qin Ji asked. About that. I heard that last year there were only about 200 people in our port area. Including several other commanders and their ship girls, there were only 300 people. And there are several commanders with their own ship girls. In the end, there were only more than 200 people who went home. This year there are more than 500 people in our port area alone. Although most of the commanders have returned to Donghuang, this does not affect the number at all. New Jersey said. Actually, I think it's more because when we were on Ryu Island before, everyone didn't have a deep sense of belonging there. The Vanguard behind him said, I've heard a lot from people in the royal family in the past few days. You can almost experience that kind of joy. For us, this is a place made by our own hands that is our own home. So when we celebrate the holidays again, it is naturally different from other places. Qin Ji glanced at Qinwei unexpectedly. I didn't expect you to be quite observant. Do you call this place your home? That's indeed the reason. As a commander, a guard knight must have keen observation and clear judgment at all times, Vanguard said. Hey, that's true. When I traveled to other camps before, I wanted to come back here more than once. New Jersey smiled and nodded. Well, this is the home we have built through our joint efforts. I believe that for any of us, this place is much more meaningful than other places, and spending a reunion festival here will make it so lively. Qin Ji said with a smile. Okay, I think it's better not to lament here. There are some interesting things up there, why don't we go take a look? Qinwei said with a smile. Haha, aren't you the guard knight responsible for my safety? Logically speaking, I should be most afraid of me going to crowded places. Why are you asking me to go to crowded places now? Qin Ji joked. According to the laws of knights, where there are many people, the other party will be wary and dare not take action. The best time to take action is when you are walking alone, so we should try to avoid walking alone these days and go where there are many people. Qianwei said seriously. Ha, that's interesting. Okay, then as you said, go wherever there are more people, Qin Ji said, looking at the avant-garde who was already a little eager to try. Qin Ji can naturally see the avant-garde little thoughts, but he does not dislike such little thoughts. he is indeed a bit slow and conservative sometimes, but it does not represent him and cannot see other people's thoughts. A lot of things like this happened in the past few days, and in the blink of an eye, it was New Year's Eve. Early in the morning, Qin Ji climbed out of bed, which made Prince Yujin a little dissatisfied as he still wanted to stay in bed. "Little Xiong, why are you getting up so early? It's still early and most people haven't gotten up yet." Qin Ji turned his head with a smile, looked at Prince Yujin and said, "Today is the last day of the year for me, so naturally I have to get up earlier. Only when the year starts and ends can I truly finish it. Moreover, I still have a mission today. By the way, you should also get up earlier. I still need you to come with me for today's task." "Huh? Do you need my help?" "I don't know what kind of task it is," Prince Yujin asked. "It's impossible for all the people at the experimental site to come back, right? And this year is also the Chinese New Year. At least go over and express condolences to them. It's really not good to bring other people there, so this important task falls on you," Qin Ji said. "Haha, it turns out that's the reason. I heard Persian Katchan said that Peter Strasser and the others were staying at the experimental site this time, and Persian Katchan and the others came back around noon today, so they really should have gone earlier. In this way, after the commander has completed his condolences, he can come back with them," Prince Yujin said. "So get up quickly. If it's a little later, it will be a little late," Qin Ji said with a smile. "All right." Although he was a little reluctant, Prince Yujin still got up, cleaned up with Qin Ji, had breakfast, made some preparations, and walked towards the port. On the way, I met several ship girls. After learning that Qin Ji was going to the testing site, they all expressed their desire to go together. Did Qin Ji stop him? Anyway, the experimental site is a secret place for other camps or the city, but for the ship girls of this fleet, it is open at any time. It's just that because the iron-blooded people are now in charge there, it seems a bit mysterious. As Prince Yujin said before, when Qin Ji's command ship arrived at the experimental site, Bismarck and others were preparing to leave. So after learning about Qin Ji's intention, Bismarck personally took him to the testing site to express his condolences. After that, he took Qin Ji around for a while, allowing him to truly feel the changes in the current experimental site. Perhaps a training ground can be opened here? Just use those mass-produced models as target ships for training, Qin Ji looked at Bismarck and asked. It is possible to open a training ground, but it is responsible for the research of scientific research ships, so it is not the best choice, Bismarck said. Then put it on the island next to it. The sea area there should be fine. Qin Ji pointed to the sea area slightly farther away on the other side. That's okay. Other camps will come one after another next year. By then, training and monitoring at the same time will be considered fair and square, Bismarck nodded. Heh, I didn't say that. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 796. On New Year's Eve, the annual gala party in the port area finally began. Although some of the commanders in the port area have returned to Donghuang, some are still here. Coupled with the embers left here and a purifier that lingers on, they form the protagonist of today's party. So Hai is still the host, Qin Ji asked, looking at Hai, who was dressed in fine clothes. Yes, although I can't attack now, I can still do some hosting work, so you don't have to worry too much, Commander Hai said with a smile. Qin Ji smacked his lips and said, okay, but pay attention to your health. If it doesn't work, just say it in time, although you most likely won't say it. Haha, don't worry, Commander, I'm not a delicate person. Hai smiled, it's almost time, I'm going to get ready. Well, go ahead. Qin Ji nodded and said. Seeing Hai's figure disappear in front of him, Magi beside Qin Ji smiled and said, don't worry, Lord, Didn't Helena and the others just say that? Hi is recovering very well, and he will be able to attack in another month. Now it shouldn't be a problem to be a host. Well, it's just a little bit unbearable, Chin-Ji said. Haha, instead of being reluctant to Hi, let's think about the performance later. My lord is the first one, Magi said with a smile. Don't you know what my lord has prepared? Chin-Ji smiled and said, of course I am prepared for this, but I am one of them. Oh, I'm looking forward to it, Magi said in surprise. Ha, it must be very exciting. As night falls, the party officially begins. Seeing Hi standing on the stage and speaking as host, counterattack from a remote place in the audience couldn't help but smile at this scene. I really like this atmosphere. If there is no war, I would like to stay here for the rest of my life. Everything we have done is for this moment. None of this is a luxury now. It may become normal in the future. Although there will be more unknown enemies, it is really good for everyone to live like this together, Fuzu smiled. Just think of this as the prelude to becoming a legend. The next test will be more and more difficult, Helena said with a smile. Oh, Commander Chin-Ji came on stage, carrying a guitar. Can he also perform? Royal Ark said with a smile. I do not know. Everyone looked towards the stage and saw that above them were Glory, Lexington, Atago, Prince Eugen, Heike, Tianying, Dunkirk, Tashkent, and of course, Chin, who was following everyone. Song. He took the microphone from Hi with a smile and said to everyone, Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. After the baptism of this year's war, we have achieved proud results, and we have welcomed more partners at the end of the year. As the new year is approaching, we have prepared a set of songs, hoping to bring joy to everyone tonight. Well, no more nonsense, let's get started. As Chin-Ji finished his words, a trombone sounded, and a feeling of desolation spread in the venue. The piano accompaniment gradually sounded, Dunkirk took the first step, and the clear voice resounded throughout the audience. Hold the sharp blade tightly and sing a high song. The war is about to start again, and we are waiting for it, Tashkent. Close your ears and watch your eyes, the storm is coming, Tianying. Death is as scheduled, and the legend will last forever, Haichi. The bright moon no longer exists, and madness comes to the world, Prince Eugen. Advance and retreat together, we will win Lexington. The light of the sword is the end of the world, Atago. Please listen to the warrior's long song, Brilliance. Along with the melodious and simple music, Chin-Ji's guitar gradually started playing, and the tune gradually became lighter, completely breaking the heaviness just now. Everyone on the stage also became active and began to gather around Chin-Ji to sing a song of eternal starlight. Of course, next, everyone sang one, including Chin-Ji. After everyone stepped off the stage, the formal part of the gala officially began. As everyone gradually came on stage and started playing, Chin-Ji returned to where he was sitting. It's a bit surprising. I haven't heard the opening song, but it feels very epic. Who composed this song? Frederick the Great, who was sitting at the same table, asked Chin-Ji. That song is called The Warrior's Long Song. It's relatively short but evocative, so I used it as the opening music. It was a song I liked to listen to in my world, Chin-Ji explained Road. As expected, it does sound interesting, but Commander Base can actually remember all the music scores, Enterprise said with a smile. Ha, how should I put it? There was a time when I was a teenager. I liked to memorize some good songs when I came across them, but it was just a rough idea. I also specifically found Lexington. After telling her about the song, she added some of her own insights and successfully composed the song. Chin-Ji said. Lexington is very powerful. He can be regarded as the idol of Kwangang District, King George V said with a smile. Ha, indeed, I just heard about it before. When I went to ask for advice, I found out that Lexington's musical attainments were so strong, and she also wanted to get me to choreograph, but I really don't care about this. A little offline. Qin Ji smiled. Haha, no, the commander is also very good at ballroom dancing, Veneto said with a smile. Ballroom dancing has been trained, and it's all thanks to Guanghui and the others, Qin Ji said with a smile. Have you prepared any programs? I didn't read the program this time, so I don't know yet. Of course, King George V smiled. It's a sword fight, and we, the Royal Knights, will participate in it. Chorus and orchestra, said Frederick the Great. Roma said they were going to perform a dance, so that's how it was arranged, Veneto said. Where are you, Musashi? Qin Ji looked at Musashi and asked. Sword dance, it's the best one, Musashi said with a smile. Richelieu, what about you? I don't know much about opera singing and other things, Richelieu said. The opera is pretty good. As for my sister, Bumblebee, and I, we are going to sing together, Enterprise said. Yuxian, where are you? Qin Ji looked at Yuxian beside him and asked. I and Zhenhai are going to play the piano and sing a song. I wonder if the commander has heard of the Song of Everlasting Sorrow, Yuxian said with a smile. I know, in Baijuyi's song, the instrument seems to be a pipa, Qin Ji said. Yes, it seems that Hai Tian is right. Commander is indeed quite good at literary attainments, Yuxian said. Ha, I just know a little bit about the famous ones, but I'm still looking forward to your show. I hope everyone can be happy tonight. Same, Commander. The song that appears in this chapter is Fat Rat's Warrior Songs. It is a very nice English song with a very epic feel. The translations used here are some of the more literary and artistic translations in the community. After a comprehensive analysis, I found that they are more in line with the current scene. It's considered private stuff. I hope you all like it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 797. The gala was held very successfully, because every performance of the Ship Girl was extremely exciting and dazzling, so time quietly passed by. When the clock struck midnight and the gorgeous fireworks burst out from the sea, everyone looked back in surprise and looked toward the place where the fireworks were released. What shone in their eyes was joy and emotion. Hai used the microphone at the right time and said, these fireworks were specially ordered by Akashi from Donghuang, the commander, and the ones who released the fireworks were little beavers from White Eagle. Let us not only admire them, but also thank them, of course. Everyone. It is because of your existence that this party can be such a success. I hope that everyone can be happy every day in the new year, and then continue to work hard to improve the strength of the fleet, so that every day will be such a happy scene. Cheers and cheers resounded. All the commanders and ship girls were celebrating each other, celebrating the arrival of the new year, and celebrating such a wonderful night. As the night gets darker, the party comes to an end. Everyone left the venue reluctantly, because starting from today means a new year, which also means the beginning of more arduous work. On the third day after the spring festival, Qin Ji, several leaders, several corps main forces, and Ember gathered in the southernmost harbor of the port area. This is the farthest place from the port area and the quietest place. The place. Are you sure there will be no accidents when switching ships? Qin Ji asked Fei Long again, but his eyes couldn't help but stare at Helena, who was operating a machine in the distance. Near this machine, there is a lot of steel piled up, and in addition there are mental cubes, materials and other resources. Don't worry, since we dare to propose such a plan, we will definitely be able to maintain success, Fei Long said. Qin Ji nodded deeply, then turned around and looked at the leaders and ship girls in front of him. So, have you decided who will make the switch first? Qin Ji asked. Let me do it. Someone has to be the first to eat crabs. I don't mind if the first person is me, Bismarck said. I'll do it. Other voices also appeared at the same time. Now that the target has been chosen, there is no way to retreat at this time. At this time, Helena, who had adjusted the machine, came over and said to Qin Ji, Commander Qin Ji, the first suggestion for ship conversion is to choose a ship that you are very familiar with. After all, you are also involved in this process, particularly important. Hope, expectation and longing, such emotions will burst out at the same time at this moment, so those who feel the deepest are often the easiest to succeed. After gaining experience in this way, there will be no problem in subsequent ship conversions. Qin Ji nodded, looked at his ship girl, and his eyes fell on the Enterprise. Enterprise, you should be the first. Because my Dong Huang is on the edge of the Pacific Ocean, I am indeed the most familiar with the history of you, the Queen of the Pacific. Hearing Qin Ji choose him, Enterprise nodded, revealed and then stood beside him. Although the other ship girls were envious, they still admitted that compared to the Enterprise, their past performance was indeed much inferior. It is indeed her. Helena smiled meaningfully, and then said to the two of them, Enterprise, please go to the platform next to the pile of steel. As for Commander Qin Ji, just come with me. Qin Ji and Enterprise nodded at the same time. Following Helena's guidance, Enterprise stood on the platform, while Qin Ji followed Helena to the side of the machine. After seeing the Enterprise stand up, Helena raised her head and asked the Enterprise, the process of switching ships is equivalent to reorganizing the body, so it will be very painful and heartbreaking, but I believe that with your will, it's a small thing for you, but I still have to remind you. So are you ready? Well, if the price of gaining power is just pain, it would be too simple. Enterprise nodded. Okay, let's get started. After Helena finished speaking, she pressed a button on the machine. In an instant, countless streams of light spread out from around the machine, and at the same time enveloped the Enterprises standing on the platform, as well as the steel and materials. Pain, unspeakable pain came, but the company didn't say a word, just stood there quietly, waiting for that moment to arrive. The first things to change were steel and materials. Under the shroud of light, those things turned into streams of data and disappeared, converging towards the Enterprises in the center of the platform. Later, the entire company was wrapped in such a stream of light, forming a bright cocoon that emitted light, and the figure could no longer be seen clearly. Time passed by second, and the light gathered on the cocoon of light little by little. It was not until the last stream of light rushed into the cocoon of light that the whole fantastic process gradually came to an end. At this time, Helena said to Qin Ji, Commander Qin Ji, please put your hand on the disc here, and then concentrate on imagining the company's experience as a ship and its experience with you, so that you can better sync your links. Yes, Qin Ji nodded, took a few steps forward and stretched out his right hand to place it on the obvious disc. Then he closed his eyes, followed Helena's instructions, and concentrated on imagining the scene between himself and himself. The experience of the company, as well as the praise and expectations of countless people for the company. At this moment, a stream of blue light rose from Qin Ji's body, like a mist, gradually drifting towards the platform shrouded in a cocoon of light. Soul Link, Nagato said in surprise. What do you mean? Bismarck asked. You should know that the soul is the most important thing for a person, and at this moment, a bridge appears in the commander's soul. The streamer you see is that bridge, and what he wants to connect is where the Enterprise is. However, responding to expectations is the same as praying. What is going on with today's soul connection? The way it is constructed like this, even a contract cannot compare to it. Nagato said. Why do I feel like I don't understand something? So is this a good thing or a bad thing? Asked George V on the side. There are good things and bad things. The good thing is that from now on, we will be more closely connected with the commander. We can determine the commander's position through soul perception, and the commander can also know our status through soul perception. Even when you go deeper, you can use the link between souls to communicate with each other. Even if you are thousands of miles away, it feels like you are close at hand to the soul. As for the disadvantage, from now on, we will sign a soul contract with the commander, and we will both be prosperous and suffer losses. If we are killed in battle at some point in the future, then the commander will also suffer pain as if his soul is torn apart. Nagato said. I see. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 798. Listening to Nagato's narration, the ship girls already had a relatively sufficient understanding of the so-called soul link or soul contract. What they were worried about was the harm caused to Shinji by their death in battle, and they were not at all worried about the impact Shinji's death would have on them. After all, commanders and ship girls are lifelong followers. Why did the world have so many commanders, but in the end the ship girls stayed? This is the reason why. When the commander leaves this world, these ship girls will follow their commander. However, in summary, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, and we need to pay more attention to our lives in the future, Bismarck said. Indeed, although the soul contract is powerful, what is more powerful than the soul contract is the oath of love. Veneto looked at the ring in his hand. This way, even if we are thousands of miles apart, we will not be separated from him. While the ship girls were discussing, the light cocoon on the platform had a new change. The blue mist revealed from Shinji's body became something like a catalyst. After it enveloped the entire light cocoon, it began to slowly penetrate into the light cocoon. As the blue mist penetrated, the light cocoon gradually became brighter and brighter. And everyone in the distance can feel that a powerful aura is gradually becoming solid. Until the moment when the blue mist was completely absorbed by the light cocoon, the light emitted by the light cocoon became extremely bright. Then it dimmed quickly, as if all the light on the cocoon was absorbed by the Enterprise inside. Until the light cocoon could no longer see any light appearing, along with the slowly blowing sea breeze, it gradually turned into dust and scattered on the earth, and a thick smoke also accompanied its scattering and filled the air. In the mist, the figure of the Enterprise slowly appeared. For Shinji, her image had not changed much from before, but for the other ship girls, it shocked them. This aura is so solid and powerful. Is this a real ship? Musashi squinted his eyes and showed his thoughts. Haha, it's really interesting. It seems that this possibility can be implemented smoothly, Frederick the Great said with a smile. It's really different. Although it's not as powerful as the auras of Ember and others, it's not too far apart. Is this a ship? Bismarck stared at the Enterprise and said. Not paying attention to the reactions of other ship girls, Shinji asked Helena, is this considered the transformation completed? Well, the transformation has been completed. The whole process was very successful. I believe Commander Shinji has also felt the connection between you and the company, Helena said. Yes, although her appearance has not changed, her image has become clearer in my heart, as if she is standing next to me and I can talk to her at any time, Shinji said. It looks like this is the power of the soul, Helena said. Soul? Shinji was stunned. Yes, where does Commander Shinji think those expectations and love come from? Helena said with a smile. So the connection between me and the company has been strengthened, Shinji asked. Yes, it's not just as simple as strengthening it, but I don't know much about the soul. If you have time, you can ask Nagato. She is an expert in this field. Helena looked towards Nagato. Shinji nodded, I remember, so why doesn't the company open its eyes now? Because it was just a physical transformation process, and now her mental Rubik's Cube is transforming, so it will take a little time, but I believe it will be soon, Helena said. Just as Helena finished speaking, Enterprise's eyes opened. She first looked at her body in surprise, then raised her head to look at Shinji. showing a smiling expression. Qin Ji immediately walked towards the Enterprise, and the other ship girls who were waiting on the side also walked forward. After all, everyone now wants to know what capabilities the real ship has. How is the company? Is there anything that feels wrong? Or is there anything that feels uncomfortable? What Qin Ji is concerned about is not what kind of changes the company's strength has made, but whether she has been affected by it. Influence. Please don't worry, Commander, I'm fine now, and much better than before, both in terms of strength and condition. Enterprise smiled. Ha, if that's the case, that would be great, Qin Ji said with a smile. So what kind of abilities do you have now, and what is the biggest difference between ships and ship girls, compared to Qin Ji? This is what others are most concerned about. The company smiled and said, it may be a bit vague to express it in language, but as long as you see it, I believe you will understand it. Enterprise turned to look in the direction of the port, then raised her hand. A ray of light appeared from her hand, and then turned into a blue stream of light and fell on the sea. Suddenly, a huge aircraft carrier suddenly appeared on the originally empty sea, which made everyone's eyes shrink tightly. This is the USS Enterprise aircraft carrier, Qin Ji said in surprise. Yes, my ship suit has been completely transformed into a battleship. Of course, it can also appear in the form of a ship suit. That way will be more flexible, and there will be no reduction in strength. It will be more powerful than the previous posture. Now my attacks are more diverse. The arrows I shot before can only be transformed into carrier-based aircraft in the formation. But now the sword I shoot can become any part of the battleship, such as an aerial bomb, a torpedo, or a bullet. Enterprise said, and the aircraft carrier on the sea transformed into a stream of light that appeared on her body, forming her ship's uniform. As she drew her bow and fired, a golden arrow turned into an aerial bomb in the air and plunged into the distant sea, causing a powerful explosion. The splashing water and the huge waves surged by energy waves on the sea proved the increase in strength. In other words, you have improved in all aspects now and have surpassed the limitations of this world. Bismarck nodded. Yes, these are the abilities I know so far, but there are more abilities that I have not discovered, and they require constant practice before I can master them. But in a word, converting ships does have a big improvement. It can be said it's a qualitative leap, the company said. Tisk, that's really surprising, King George V sighed. Let me tell you, instead of being surprised here, why not talk about whose turn it is next? Helena, who was not far away, said loudly, if we continue to delay like this, then the time will be noon. Let me do it. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 799. Bismarck was a little surprised when he saw the whirlpool on the sea surface after being hit by a cannonball, but he was more relieved. Report to Commander, he is in good condition. He is truly amazingly powerful. She turned to Qin Ji and said. It can be seen that it is a very terrifying power. With the blessing, it can actually make the fired cannonballs form a whirlpool and pull the surrounding warships into the whirlpool. It is really amazing. Qin Ji looked at the scene in front of him and exclaimed. Bismarck's transformation process was the same as that of Enterprise's. Although it was painful, there were no accidents. When the more than 200-meter-long battleship Bismarck appeared in front of everyone, looking at the ferocious gun barrel, no one would question the power of such a gun barrel to shoot out shells. And as the battleship Bismarck transformed into Bismarck's ship uniform, when she fired fiercely at the sea, the reaction was earth-shattering. The energy of the Rubik's Cube is reflected here in the form of cannonballs. If the energy of the previous cannonballs was 1, then the energy of the current cannonballs is 30 or even 50. However, the ability to create a vortex like this consumes a lot of physical strength, so it is not used unless absolutely necessary. But the improvement in overall performance is visible to the naked eye, and it is also a qualitative leap. This time, the eyes of the watching ship girls became even more intense. Because most of the people here are battleships, the only aircraft carriers are Enterprise, Shinano, 3 Genhai and 2 cruisers Yitzen and Kronstadt, and the rest are battleships. Veneto, Littorio, Rome representing the Sardinian Empire. Richelieu and Jean Bart representing the theocracy of Iris. Representing the Soviet Union of the North, Soviet Belarus. Representing the royal family, King George V, war-weary, and Elizabeth. Nagato, Musashi, and Amagi represent the heavy cherry blossoms. New Jersey representing White Eagle. Representing the iron-blooded Bismarck and Tirpitz, Frederick the Great, Hutton. These people are all today's participants and bystanders, they are also the highest level of each camp, and they are also world-famous battleships. If the changes brought about by the previous company made them feel novel and full of hope, then the changes brought about by Bismarck made them eager. Significantly strengthen your current strength and produce qualitative changes. If such an ability can only be obtained in exchange for pain, then it is really too simple. As for the fact that Qin Ji would be harmed due to her sinking, the ship girls had long forgotten about it. For them, as long as they are stronger, they will be more able to ensure their own safety and Qin Ji's safety, so that Qin Ji will not be harmed by his soul. You can't miss the eager Qin Ji in ship girls' eyes, but at least there is one who comes first, right? The steel prepared in the first batch is relatively small. Well, this is the amount divided equally among the various warships. For ordinary people, it is absolutely an astronomical figure. Commander, when can we accept the conversion? Musashi first raised his question to Qin Ji. Perhaps this is also everyone's desire. Qin Ji smiled bitterly and said, this matter cannot be rushed. The first batch of purchases is already large, but it is only enough for the conversion needs of 8 of them. The second batch may be a little larger, but this will also take a certain amount of time. Didn't we sign mutual aid contracts with other camps before? What if we trade materials with them for steel? Elizabeth asked. Naive, this kind of thing can only be done in private. If we propose steel transactions to several major camps at the same time, there is no guarantee that they will use the steel for something. The current conversion involves the commander, and anyone can be listed as untrustworthy. Bismarck said unceremoniously. In fact, we don't need to collect steel on a large scale from those camps. We only need to target a few camps rich in steel, Amagi said. The camp rich in steel, King George V smiled and said, then it belongs to the 4 camps of Donghuang, Chongqing, White Eagle and Northern United. Common people, if you make such a request to Yuxian of Donghuang, what is the probability that it will be approved? Elizabeth said, but as soon as she finished speaking, several eyes stared at her, making Elizabeth shrink back behind Jean Xian. Qin Ji didn't mind Elizabeth's name, but couldn't help but touched his chin. If it's not too much, it should be successful. I can confirm this. Donghuang doesn't have as many thoughts as other camps. They are a camp that hopes for peace in the sea and people to live and work in peace and contentment. They are happy to see us become a pillar force. This is also why commanders can develop. If placed in other camps, commanders might not have as much freedom as they do now. Veneto laughed. I'm pretty sure about Shigisakura. Amagi smiled, although Akagakaga is now in our port area, their prestige is still there in Shigisakura, and the Lord has a good relationship with Shigisakura, so they should be able to win a huge order. As for the Northern Alliance, Frederick the Great said with a smile, after the secret room is activated, maybe we can take this opportunity to talk to them. Qin Ji nodded, Northern United can indeed be counted as one of them. We will discuss these later when the secret room is explored. So let's first identify Donghuang and Chongqing as our targets. As for Beijing, we won't consider it for now. All the ship girls nodded, the current plan was the safest. Of course, Commander, when we set our sights on other camps, don't forget about that cat, Genhai said, to be able to obtain so much steel in such a short period of time, her energy cannot be underestimated. Indeed, I will add more orders to Akashi in the future. Shinji nodded, but it is a pity that I did not summon Akashi who belonged to our fleet last time. Maybe it just hasn't appeared yet. Lord, don't be impatient. This world is still a numbered world, and any changes are possible. Magi comforted him. Well, you're right. Shinji smiled. He was just regretful, not anxious. Helena on the side couldn't help but sigh when she saw everyone's appearance. I tell you, these issues can be discussed in the conference room later. The sun is getting hotter and hotter. How long do you have to wait? Shinji turned around and looked at Helena with a slight embarrassment, and said apologetically, I'm sorry, can you continue now? Of course, have you decided which one? Helena asked. This time it's my turn. Veneto stood up and looked at Helena. Well, standing on the previous platform, the process is the same as the Enterprise and Bismarck. I won't go into the precautions. Once everything is ready, you can start, Helena said. No problem. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Hwangming Muji. Chapter 800. Steel, Steel. Shinji, who was sitting in the office, kept mumbling, which made Tiancheng beside him feel helpless and distressed. Lord, this matter cannot be rushed for the time being. Shinji raised his head and glanced at Tiancheng, and couldn't help but take a deep breath with a wry smile. I also know that there is no rush, but since the change that day, you have also seen the changes brought about by the company and others. In the port area, people who want to become ships, there are a lot of people on the ship, so no matter where I am now, I can hear things like conversion, ships, and steel. Especially some of the more straightforward people came directly to book a seat with me. It was definitely impossible to refuse them. I could only explain the current situation to them, so I got used to it, and now I always say it no matter what happens. Holding steel. Haha, it seems that the Lord's mentality is quite good, Tiancheng said with a smile. I am relieved. In fact, you don't need to pay attention to most people's requests for the time being. You only need to inform the leaders of your camp. It will be solved naturally. I know, but it's impossible to isolate yourself from them, right? Shinji said with a smile. Some things can indeed be handled by the leaders of the camp, but some things are not suitable. Although I am the leader of the port area, I am also fundamentally your commander, not only for the leaders of each camp, but also for everyone in this fleet. What the Lord said is true, but Tiancheng doesn't want to see you working so hard, Tiancheng said. Shinji shook his head. I'm not very tired, especially after relaxing during this period. What worries me is that now I have to find a way to let everyone in the port area divert their attention from this matter, and the ship transformation. This matter is a long-term plan and cannot be rushed. If it's just a diversion of sight, then I have a method, Magi said with a smile, but with this method, the Lord may be a little tired. Shinji looked at Tiancheng in confusion. What method can you tell me? My lord, do you still remember the promise you made to stay in the camp on the Atlantic coast? Magi said with a smile. Shinji was stunned for a moment. Hey, the ring? It must be yours in Tiancheng, but don't I want to wait until I go to Chongying to give it to you? Magi smiled. I understand your lord's thoughts, but I'm not talking about the ring, but the people you gave the ring to. There is a lot of information that shows that the Lord promised them there that when he returned to the port area, he would prepare a vow ceremony of their own for them, just like the glorious oath ceremony before. If at this time, the Lord announces that the entire port area is to prepare for the next oath ceremony, then everyone's attention will definitely be diverted from the converted ships. After all, for us, converted ships are just an improvement in strength, but the oath is indeed the most anticipated thing. Qin Ji's eyes lit up. Yes, how could I forget this matter? Really? Qin Ji stood up from his seat excitedly. The oath ceremony is great. This way everyone's attention can be diverted, and if it's one per day, we can also go to Donghuang and Chongying as planned. One a day. Magi was stunned for a moment. Did the Lord say that we should hold a vow ceremony with one person a day? Yes, should we hold the oath ceremony with everyone on the same day? That would be two. Qin Ji stopped when he said this and looked at the smiling Tian Cheng. So, what you were referring to at the beginning was this? Yes, all the ship girls who have been given rings by their master will hold an oath ceremony on the same day. The message of this is very explosive. No matter how much people care about the steel conversion matter, they will be attracted by this matter. And for this matter, we need to prepare for a relatively long period of time. Even after experiencing it, it will take a long time to eliminate the impact of this matter, and this can win us a relatively long period of time. Time. Magi said with a smile. Qin Ji couldn't help but swallowed, but, I don't know how to hold a vow ceremony with so many people at once. I have no experience at all. It's okay. You have experienced this kind of thing a few times. Could it be that after the Lord just decided on these quotas, he will not give out any more rings in the future? Tian Cheng asked with a smile. Qin Ji rolled his eyes. Having a vow ceremony with so many people at once, I always feel like I'm like a big radish. No, even a big radish wouldn't dare to do that. I always feel like I'm an emperor. Isn't it? Tian Cheng smiled and said, to be taken seriously by the 9 major camps, to form a cooperative relationship with them, and to have them sincerely recognize you, does the Lord still think that you are just an ordinary commander? Tisk, my identity changed too fast, and I couldn't get used to it for a while. But aside from that, the vow ceremony is equivalent to a marriage ceremony. It always feels weird to marry so many people at once, Qin Ji said. So this matter requires the Lord to suffer, Tian Cheng said with a smile. Qin Ji smiled bitterly. So if we hold the oath ceremony together, Donghuang and Chongying must also be included in it, right? So even if Tian Cheng says he doesn't want it, he still expects it in his heart, right? Lord, I didn't say that, but if you understand it this way, then I won't refute it, Magi said with a smile. Qin Ji grinned. This matter will always have to be faced, it's just sooner or later. But since you have brought it up now, let's take advantage of this period of time to carry out the issue of the oath ceremony together. Bar. But the date will have to wait until we get to Chongying. Does this count as boarding the ship first and then paying for the ticket? Getting on the boat or something? If it's the Lord, it's not impossible. Magi's cheeks were slightly red, and his eyes were full of love. Qin Ji was a little stunned by Tianquan's appearance, and then he realized what he was doing. Isn't Magi essentially a ship? And I said to get on the boat. Ahem, that's not what I meant, you know. Anyway, the meaning of getting on the boat is, well, I always feel that the more I explain, the more confusing. Qin Ji said speechlessly. I understand, Lord, but Lord, does that really mean nothing? Magi asked. Ahem, it's still a little bit, but that's not the key, Qin Ji said quickly. The key is that your proposal is great, and we will just follow it. However, I did not bring the oath rings today, so wait until tomorrow. Starting from tomorrow, I will give them to you one by one before the oath ceremony is held. Haha, since the Lord said so, Tian Cheng will arrange this matter next. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 801. Sure enough, since one day it came out from the mouth of a certain ship girl that when Qin Ji was preparing to hold a vow ceremony, the entire port area's attention was diverted. After all, they already knew the relevant matters about the ship conversion after such a long time. Moreover, there are only a few people in Minato who have successfully converted, So many people do not expect that it will be their turn right away. Now, coupled with the fact that Qin Ji was going to hold a vow ceremony, the atmosphere in the port area suddenly changed. But the happiest people recently are probably Dong Huang and Chongying's ship girl. When Qin Ji first came back from outside, he only gave a ring to Hai, and there was no further news after that. They thought it would take a long time before they could get their commander's ring, but they didn't expect to wait long. I didn't expect that the commander would finally ask me out. I thought it would have to wait until we go to Dong Huang again. It seems that the recent rumors in the port area have also given you a headache. Otherwise, you wouldn't use such a method to divert attention. Bar. Qin Ji and Zhen Hai were walking side by side on the trail in the southern part of the port area. Although the sea breeze on their faces was very pleasant, Zhen Hai's words made Qin Ji feel a little restless. Ahem, as expected of Zhen Hai, he guessed it so quickly. Qin Ji coughed lightly. Haha, I can also guess that this must be Majai's idea. After all, since she went to your office that day, such words have been spread in the port area. Zhen Hai smiled. Ha, actually even if Tiancheng doesn't tell me, I plan to hold the oath ceremony in the near future. After all, after the new year and before leaving for Dong Huang, this period of time will be relatively free. Qin Ji laughed, but also it was revealed that this was indeed Majai's idea. Actually, I didn't say that this idea is a bad idea, or that this is the best one for the current events in our port area that are suitable for diverting everyone's attention. Or for me personally, I prefer this. Commander, what kind of person do you think I am? Zhen Hai asked. Zhen Hai, as far as you are concerned, you are very thoughtful and calm when encountering problems. You are a very good counselor. You are also gentle towards your companions, like a mature big sister. Overall, he is a very powerful person. Qin Ji replied. Haha, I didn't expect that I would have such an image in the eyes of the commander. Zhen Hai smiled, but from her confident smile, Qin Ji felt that this sentence was definitely a lie. With Zhen Hai's eyesight, could he see what he thought of her? Qin Ji knew that Zhen Hai was the best at detecting people's hearts. Yes, because the counselors around me are usually you and Tiancheng, so I have been with you for a long time and know you better. Qin Ji smiled. Perhaps Tiancheng, as your counselor, wants to help you gain more confidence in victory. And I, as your counselor, am just because of my lack of strength, Zhen Hai said. Ah. I never thought about it that way. Qin Ji quickly waved his hands and said, I think everyone has their own specialties, just like an enterprise is good at fighting, just like Bismarck is good at management, just like Tiancheng is good at strategy, and Zhen Hai, you are the best counselor. War is never just a contest of strength. If everything were that simple, then every battle would only require the selection of the most powerful people. War has always been a contest of comprehensive strength. Logistics, tactics, strategies, battlefield communications, arrangements, etc. are all part of war. Everyone has a role and division of labor in it, and they all play a decisive role in the victory of a battle. Haha, the commander really sees the war very clearly, Zhen Hai said with a smile. This is what you usually tell me, Zhen Hai. I just remember it and understand it, Qin Ji said. It's a very good thing to see you gain something, but it's a bit boring to keep walking like this without a goal. How about we find a place to play chess while doing it? I want to watch it. Let's see if the commander can integrate into the chess game as you just said, Zhen Hai said. Okay, I remember when I came here before, there was a platform not far in front where you could rest, Qin Ji said. It seems that the commander is quite familiar with this generation, so do you usually bring them here on dates? Zhen Hai said with a smile. Well, I don't come here often, just occasionally. After all, this island is so big, and there are good views in any direction. But compared to the tree-lined paths, they also like to go to the beach more. But because the weather is nice today, there will definitely be a lot of people on the beach, so I still choose to take you here. I hope you don't mind. Qin Ji replied. Why do you mind? Relatively speaking, I am quite happy, because as the number of people in the port area increases, the time I can spend alone with the commander like this becomes less and less. Even that's the case, let alone other people, so I'm quite lucky at this moment, Jinhai said with a smile. Indeed, I used to go out with them to play, but now that there are more people, I can only meet and say hello every day, and then I have to rush to do other things. Only when they are working as my secretary ship can they continue to patrol the port area and go on dates. Qin Ji said. The two of them walked and talked until they came to the platform Qin Ji mentioned. Jinhai took out the chessboard from his ship's space and placed it on the table. The two of them sat on both sides. Commander, before the chess game starts, how about another bet between us, Jinhai said with a smile, holding the white chess piece in his hand. What kind of bet? Qin Ji asked. The loser must promise the winner something, no matter what it is, Jinhai smiled. Ah. This scope is a bit too broad. Otherwise, let's narrow the scope. That is, no matter what happens between the two parties, other people cannot be involved, Qin Ji said. That's okay, then, Commander, please go all out. The same to you. So the chess game officially started. After a long time, Jinhai looked at the chessboard in front of him and said with a smile, Oh, I was careless. I, who have always been good at strategy, actually made a mistake like this. Well, congratulations on your win. So, I'm willing to admit defeat. Tell me what your request is, anything is fine, hee hee. So, marry me, Qin Ji took out the vow ring and said. But, isn't this already scheduled before? So the commander can make another request in addition to this request, Jinhai said with a smile. Hiss, can I think you are tempting me? What do you think, Commander? For it. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 802. Early in the morning, Belfast came to Qin Ji's room on time to clean up. At this time, Qin Ji had already gotten up and was standing in the closet. Belfast looked at the bed where two people had obviously slept, and couldn't help but smile and said, So the master left Miss Jinhai here yesterday. Qin Ji nodded. After all, he and Belfast had nothing to hide. Perhaps no one in the entire port area, including Qin Ji himself, knows him as well as Belfast. Yeah, but she left early in the morning. Perhaps you are worried that other people will see it, Belfast said with a smile. How should I put it? I feel that the ladies in Donghuang have somewhat similar personalities to our royal ladies. They both regard etiquette as more important and must always maintain it. Ladylike image. Qin Ji smiled and turned his head. When you said that, I remembered that Guanghui got up early every morning and left. But on the contrary, Prince Eugene didn't care about it so much, and every time she had to pull me to sleep until she got up. But if we talk about it, it's not sooner or later than when I sleep with you. Haha, as long as the master needs it, Belfast can stay with you at any time, Belfast said with a smile. But having said that, Master, who are you going to ask out today? Qin Ji looked back at the closet and said, I guess, after all, she is the first ship girl I summoned, and it is also the beginning of my career as a commander. I should have taken her out yesterday, maybe because of selfish motives. It's also possible that he was the first to encounter Jinhai. Indeed, Miss Nashiro has been working very hard, but she just doesn't show much in front of the master, but she is still thinking about you in her heart, Belfast said with a smile. Qin Ji nodded and said very naturally, then I'll go down and run around first. Bifa will clean up the room first and then help me prepare things for washing. I'll be back later. Understood, my master. After Qin Ji finished cleaning up, he came to the office. Although the date was important, his job was more important. As usual, after completing the mission of the Secretary ship in New Jersey, the duties of the Secretary ship will be handed over. Because Shinji had summoned so many ship girls before, a new ship girl would serve as the Secretary ship. Musashi was the first ship girl summoned for Shinji last time, so naturally she is the Secretary ship these days. Unlike Shinano at the same level, the impression Musashi left on Shinji in the past few days was that of gentleness and calmness. Shinji seemed to see the shadow of Frederick the Great in her, but she did not call herself my child like Frederick the Great did. This made Shinji very happy. Commander, what do you want to start with today? If you don't have a clue, let me help you organize it. Musashi looked at Shinji with a smile on his face, just like a teacher looking at his students. Shinji couldn't help but smile. I believe you have become familiar with it in the past 2 days. There are not many things in the port area. What can be sent here is our fleet's own affairs, or the deputy commander and others send it to me. A signed document. It's basically not too much trouble. I'm afraid it will frustrate your enthusiasm. That's not true. I quite like this kind of life, Musashi said with a smile. If things are busy and you need to work hard, it proves that there are many unstable factors in the port area. On the contrary, the people who control the port area will control things here. The fewer, the more it represents the orderly operation of the port area. Shinji nodded. That's true. When there were not so many people in the fleet, things were very busy every day. Since going through the reforms of Frederick the Great, things here have become less and less. Frederick the Great? I have talked with her, and she is indeed a very powerful person. Musashi smiled, and she seems to be the commander's wedding ship, which is a bit unexpected. Shinji touched his nose and said, well, maybe this comes from mutual trust. Well, after getting to know each other in the past 2 days, the commander does have a lot of shining points. No wonder, other people like you so much, especially when I heard that you were going to perform the oath ceremony recently. It seems that the entire port area has become more, get angry. Musashi smiled. Ha, actually this is also a way to change the line of sight. You also know how much impact the companies have had on the port area since they were converted into ships. Everyone's expectations really put me under some pressure, so I adopted this method. Shinji laughed at himself. I understand this. Even I want to convert it into a ship. After all, that kind of power is indeed a very big temptation for us. If we had that kind of power at that time, we would definitely be able to turn the tide, Musashi said. Shinji grinned. What should he say at this time? Although he understood that the ship girls in this world were different from the ships in his world, he still couldn't help but like to be a part of that world. Let the past go by. In fact, if you think about it better, it is precisely because of this past that you will cherish the present more, right? Shinji thought for a while and said. That's right, lamenting the past can't change anything, and it's not in line with my style. Musashi smiled. As a superior, it is my responsibility to protect those who follow me, but I didn't expect to be comforted by you, Commander. But let me protect you from now on, haha. Shinji smiled and said, forget about shelter or anything like that. I am not that kind of cowardly person. If possible, I would rather you stand side by side with me. It would be better for us to face the wind and rain together. You are indeed worthy of being the one who unified such a large fleet. Don't you want to be inferior to others? Musashi smiled. That's right. I haven't felt this way for a long time. But I don't seem to feel this feeling recently. I heard that it is a common thing in the port area for the commander to accompany the secretary ship on dates. But except for the first day, it seems that the commander left early yesterday. Ahem, that's because we are preparing for the oath ceremony later. Shinji coughed dryly. Maybe I won't be able to accompany you on dates in the port area in the past few days. There will be a lot of things after that. Otherwise, when I go to the east, maybe after Huang or Chongsakura, there may be time by then. It doesn't matter. I understand the specific situation, but I have written down the agreement that the commander made to me today. When I go to Donghuang and Chongying, the commander can't use it for other things. No more shirk, Musashi said. Qin Ji nodded, of course, I'm also looking forward to dating you. Then it's decided, Musashi smiled, that's it for the morning chat. Let's start the day's work, Commander. Well, I'm sorry to bother you too. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 803. After finishing his day's work, Qin Ji said goodbye to Musashi and walked towards the place where the Agano sisters lived. Compared to Awesome and Perseverant, who want to be separated from their sisters, most sister ships are still willing to live together, such as Enterprise, Hornet, and York City, and the Agano sisters. Although Agano often teases her sister Nashiro, the relationship between the two sisters is still very good. Recently, they also summoned their sister Sake, making it even more fun for the three sisters to live together. Qin Ji knocked on the door of the three sisters, and the one who opened the door was the fourth sister, Ju 11. Her eyes lit up when she saw Qin Ji. Hey, Commander, why are you here? Hey, I think you must also care about Joseo, right? I may care about you, or I may not care about you. Qin Ji was a little embarrassed by the drunkard. Well, I also want to chat with the drunkard, but this time I'm looking for you to be my sister. Joseo was stunned for a moment, and then he showed a smile that I understood. Although the commander didn't come here specifically to see Joseo, I'm very happy. Commander, do you want to come in? I can be here on behalf of my sister. Qin Ji thought for a while and nodded. Well, let's go in. Please come in. The house of the three Agano sisters is a suite with 4 rooms and even a kitchen. Similar to the specifications at the Commander Academy before, the specifications of the Ship Girl dormitories are very high-end. Some people may think that such specifications are a bit unbelievable, but to Qin Ji, they feel very reasonable. Each ship girl corresponds to a battleship. For ordinary countries, battleships are the most important weapon of the country. Annual maintenance costs a lot of money, not to mention the old saying that once a cannon goes off, 1,000 taels of gold are worth it. Although they have transformed into ship girls, their firepower has not decreased and they are still at the level of the most important weapons of the country, so it is natural that they receive the highest standards of treatment. Sitting in the living room, the wine man immediately ran to Nashiro's room and pulled Nashiro out. When Nashiro saw Qin Ji coming, he was also a little surprised. Commander, how did you get here? According to the time, it should be patrol time, right? Could it be that you are a little tired after patrolling here, so you came up to take a rest? No, today's patrol is left to Musashi. I came here specifically to find you this time, Qin Ji said. Looking for me, Node seemed to have thought of something, and his face suddenly turned crimson. What do you want from me? I want to ask if you have time today. If you have time, I would like to ask you to go on a date with me. What do you think? Qin Ji said directly. I have enough time. Today's training mission has been completed in the morning. My plan for the afternoon is to read a book and familiarize myself with the attack textbook. But if you only care about invitations, you can push it back. After all, it is not too important. Node said. Then give it a try. Today's date is quite important, Qin Ji said with a smile. At this time, the wine man stuck his head out and asked from a distance, Commander, I recently heard that you are going to prepare for the oath ceremony in a few days, so I will be your first ship girl. Are you going to invite her on a date today? Are you giving her a ring? Qin Ji touched his nose, and Nashiro on the side also had a blushing face. This question was a bit too direct, and neither of them knew how to answer it. Finally, he was able to say on his behalf, "Jozu, hurry up and read your book. When Sister Agano comes back for random checks, it will be a disaster if you can't answer." Hee, Node-san is feeling shy. "Okay, okay, I won't disturb you two anymore. I'm going to read a book first. Remember to close the door when Node-san goes out later," Joseo finished with a smile. Then he returned to his room. Seeing Jozu return to the room, Nashiro said apologetically to Shinji, "I'm sorry, Commander, Jozu is too casual." Shinji shook his head. "Actually, this kind of personality is also very cute. I don't mind it. So do you need to prepare? If necessary, I can wait for you here." "No," Nashiro hesitated as soon as he said the first word, "I need a moment, so I'd better trouble Commander to wait a little longer." "It doesn't matter, it's still early, there will be a lot of time later." After finishing speaking, Nashiro walked back to his room. When he came out again, his clothes had changed. Instead of the more casual clothes just now, he changed into his original ship outfit. Wearing black stockings outside the black sailor uniform makes her look mature, but also reveals a hint of youthful beauty. "Sorry, after much thought, this outfit is the most suitable." "Commander, you won't mind, right?" Nashiro said awkwardly. Shinji shook his head and said with a smile, "When we first met, we were standing like this. You were wearing this ship uniform, and I was wearing the same commander uniform. Well, Commander has grown up a lot compared to back then." "You didn't know anything at that time," Nashiro sighed a little. "Well, we will talk about these things while walking on the road later, so let's leave here together first." Shinji smiled and stretched out his right hand. Nashiro was stunned for a moment, then put his hand on Shinji's hand with a red face, let him hold it, and the two left the dormitory building together. Starting from the side entrance of the port area, the further you go inside, the quieter the scenery becomes, and there is a bit of chill under the tree shades, but since the two of them are holding hands together, it is very suitable. "I remember we haven't gone out together like this for a long time. The last time I remember we dated was on Sun Moon Island, when you were the secretary ship." Shinji looked at Nashiro and said, "You have a really good memory. It's true that the last time we dated, we were chasing Moon Island, but we dated for several days in a row. It was probably the happiest time during this period. But today I am a little happier than that day, or maybe I am more looking forward to it." Node said. Shinji smiled and took out the oath ring from his pocket. "You guessed it, this ring should have been given to you first, but because you were in the royal family at the time, you didn't have time. However, as my first ship girl, you are one of the people who has witnessed my most time in this world. No matter what, I have to give you an explanation. So, marry me. I hope you will always accompany me and move forward together on this blue road." "Yes," Nashiro nodded firmly. Perhaps for her, this is the most powerful answer to her feelings. Then Shinji knelt down on one knee, put the ring on Node, and hugged her tightly. At this moment, even Node, who is known for his rationality, was infected. The two hugged each other tightly and conveyed their feelings to each other. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Hwangming Muji. Chapter 804. Shinji, humming a little tune, walked all the way from the dormitory to the office. He was very happy about his date with Nashiro yesterday. To him, Noyo was like his first love classmate, gentle but memorable. Especially the combination of a sailor suit and black stockings, who can resist it? But yesterday was just a date and a vow. Going further, Shinji doesn't have that idea for the time being, and News Hero also has his own considerations. But all in all, after making a vow with Node, Shinji felt much more relaxed. Haha, it looks like the commander is in a good mood today. Suddenly, a voice came from the roadside, making Shinji look over. Atago. Why are you here? Don't you usually go to sword practice at this time? Shinji said in surprise. Although Atago does sometimes bother Shinji and everyone in the port area still see his pursuit of swordsmanship. Because I am here waiting for the commander today. If I don't take the initiative, the opportunity will slip away in front of my eyes, Atago said and walked to Shinji. Now, Commander, I heard that you have been giving rings to everyone these past 2 days. There must be one for my sister, right? Shinji was stunned for a moment, then said with a smile, Atago is usually very well informed, so let me guess, does it have your ring this time? Well, Guan has become naughty this time. It seems that Commander has forgotten how shy he was before without looking for you during this period, Atago said with a smile, but this is good, I can be with Commander in the future. Doing more embarrassing things. Shinji was speechless. Atago was indeed the same Atago, and he hadn't changed at all. Well, let's not mention the past things, but since you are here today, there is indeed one thing that I need to talk to you about. Is there anything I need to tell my sister? As long as it's something the commander says, my sister will agree. So the commander must think about it carefully, no matter what it is, Atago said with a smile on his face. Very tempting. Shinji's throat moved violently, and he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Fairy, sure enough, even Prince Eugen was inferior in this aspect compared to Atago. Ahem, I wonder if you have time this afternoon, Shinji said. The most important thing for my sister is time, especially when the commander said, does the commander want to go on a date with my sister? Yes, it doesn't matter where it is, so the commander wants to be in my sister's room. Or your room, Atago said with a smile, his words full of expectation. Shinji rolled his eyes, we are indeed going on a date, but the place will never be in our room. By the way, you have been with me for so long, and you always tease me like this. I have never teased Commander, it's just that you think I'm teasing you. The reason why you are so direct is because Commander is very cute. My sister already liked you when she first saw you. And if you don't express your thoughts well, no one will understand, so I will never hide my feelings for the commander. Atago smiled. Shinji couldn't help but open his mouth. Indeed, when he had just summoned Atago, Atago's first words when he saw him were, Era, what a lovely commander. I am Atago. From now on, I will let my sister come and take good care of you. Therefore, it seems that since that time, Atago's feelings for him have not changed. They have always been so direct that people can't help but feel their heart beat faster. Shinji couldn't help but smile with relief. Indeed, maybe I just restricted myself from some thoughts. If you have time this afternoon, let's go to the island for a walk together after I finish my work. Let's talk about the past, let's talk about the future, and the most important thing is that I want to get to know you again. Era, Commander, you have really matured a lot. Sister is really looking forward to this afternoon's date. Atago smiled, so do you need me to bring a swimsuit? You can't wear it for other people, the kind that can only be seen by humans, the kind that can only be shown to the commander. Shinji's face darkened, so give me back the emotion I just felt, and dress properly for the date. We are not going to the beach, and today's date is very important. I don't believe you can't guess it. Hee, then sister will save that swimsuit for after the date. Commander, do you want to take a look at it then? It's very white, Atago said with a smile, looking very happy. Ahem, the clothes are in your hands and not with me, so they are placed in the ship's space and I can't see them. Why are you telling me these things? Shinji touched his nose and said. Haha, since the commander said so, my sister needs to be well prepared, so just come to my sister's room after get off work, Atago said with a smile. Well, it's settled. I have to go to the office quickly. Musashi should have arrived, Shinji said. Well, Commander, go slowly. Atago waved with a smile. His goal had been achieved, so there was no need to force Qin-Ji to stay. Qin-Ji breathed a sigh of relief when he entered the office building. Atago's was directly different from New Jersey or Cheshire. It was a direct attack that constantly teased Qin-Ji's bottom line, making him feel itchy every time. However, I'm looking forward to the future. Qin-Ji smiled and shook his head, then walked towards the office. As soon as he opened the door, he saw Musashi standing next to the desk, sorting documents. Good morning, Musashi. Good morning, Commander, you look very happy. It seems that you are in a good mood today. Did your date with Nashiro go well yesterday? Is there anything you need to ask me? Musashi turned around and said with a smile. Yesterday's date went very smoothly, and we didn't encounter any problems. I just need to trouble Musashi with something today, Qin-Ji said to Musashi. Whatever it is, just say it, Musashi said. Qin-Ji stepped forward, rummaged through the documents, took out a red-marked document, and handed it to Musashi. Is this a document sent by the Scientific Research Department? Musashi took it and opened it and looked at it. Qin-Ji nodded. Bismarck called me specifically last night. The production of scientific research drawings has officially begun, and the purifier is now at the experimental site. Our next plan in the port area can also start, so I need you to inform Chongqing, White Eagle, Royal, Donghuang, Northern United, Sardinian Empire, and Iris that they can set up scientific research ship girls in their respective camps. It is best to send high-level officials to the experimental site to work with the iron-blooded personnel to establish the project and start the formation of our scientific research ship girls. Are all the scientific research ship girls in the entire camp building? Musashi smiled and nodded. I understand, Commander, just stay tuned.